to this point. So we owe the ancestors for what they have done for us. So we will honor them tonight. And we will remember their struggle. We will remember their righteous way. So, I'll say a name of some ancestors. And this is call and response, kind of like back in the day, in some churches, they very big on call and response, and it's ancient. I'll make the call and you respond. And we'll be as rhythmic as possible. Because rhythm is important. There's rhythm in everything, there's movement in everything. So, if your response to the call is Ashe, Ashe means I got it, word up, amen, let it be so. You got it?
Ashe.
Got it?
Ashe.
Right. So let's start this off with a tribute and a recognition and a remembrance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Ashe. Malcolm X.
Ashe.
Harriet Tubman.
Ashe.
Fannie Lou Hamer.
Ashe.
And I'd like to give a shout out for my Papa Carter. Say Ashe.
Ashe.
He was important to me. And you have an opportunity to share an ancestor who was important to you. Because you didn't come here alone. You're not by yourself being here. So let me hear some shout outs from you, from one of your ancestors.
Catherine Regis.
Yes.
Ashe.
Gina Emerson.
Ashe.
John Gomez.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Morris Wynn.
Ashe.
Mr. and Mrs. Griffiths.
Ashe.
Raymond Thomas.
Ashe.
Judith Thomas.
Ashe.
Bernard Whitfield.
Ashe.
Charles H. Kirby.
Ashe.
Monique Rhymes.
Ashe.
Dave Richardson.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Todd Hilliard.
Ashe.
Senator Macaulay.
Ashe. Ashe.
Tupac Shakur.
Ashe.
Biggie Smalls.
Ashe.
Now let's Ashe. A shout out for all those who are yet to be born. And because of the deeds that we will lay down for them, there will be a righteous path for them to travel. Ashe.
Ashe.
And a shout out for those we do not know, but because of them, we are here.
Ashe.
Thank you so much. So, my name is Brother Rob Carter. Associate Director of the African American Resource Center and co-chair of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Symposium, or co-chair of the Executive Planning Committee, of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Symposium for 2011. And this program is within the 2011 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Symposium on Social Change. I have the pleasure, the esteemed pleasure, to introduce my colleague, my friend, my brother, and part-time faculty here, Mr. Eric Grimes, also known as Shomari, who I guarantee that once you take in and open yourself up to the information that he's getting ready to share with you, you'll be touched. So without any further ado, please turn off your cell phones. We appreciate that. there anything I'm leaving out, Colleen, I need to say? The co-chair.
And just want to kind of talk about the programs, or just remind them of the programs that we have coming up,
Yes.
especially about tomorrow, interfaith and
Interfaith program tomorrow. I passed out some MLK Symposium booklets. Our symposium goes to February 2nd. So, thank you so much. Eric Grimes.
I don't know, I don't think so. Any more handouts? These are the handouts. These are the handouts. They look like this.
Good evening. I'm here today. My topic is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his legacy and the systematic destabilization of strong black manhood. There's kind of a lot in that title to kind of do in an hour, hour and a half. So I'm probably not going to do it justice, but I have three kind of themes. One part I'm going to talk about Martin Luther King real quickly, because it's really not about him. I don't necessarily believe in personality-driven moments, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Martin Luther King as a man. Didn't know him. I do want to spend some time on how his legacy, i.e. the story we tell about him, or the story we tell about a person, the narrative that forms, usually after their death, how that's been used, and what I contend used in a way that is not necessarily developmental for the people that he lived his life for. More specifically, that the way his narrative around his legacy has been crafted, it has worked against what is most needed at this time in our existence as African people here in America, and that is the type of manhood that will stand against oppressive forces in the way that matters. And I contend that the narrative of changing this dude, whether you believe in nonviolence or violence, whether you believe in peace, social justice, what I do know is that guy was not a community service advocate. I do know that. I do know that the narrative that's being told about him to galvanize thousands of people to engage in a quote-unquote day of service is not who that man was. And so for me, the question becomes, why has he been crafted in this particular way? Why did they turn Malcolm X into a civil rights advocate when Malcolm clearly said that's not who he was? Why do they turn this man into a man of peace when he systematically sought confrontations everywhere he went? So the question becomes, what's the purpose of that narrative? And then more importantly for me, how is that narrative being made manifest in the spaces and places where particularly young black males are now? Social service programs, educational institutions, and the like. How does this narrative connect to the type of personalities we have at the fore of black leadership now? How does that narrative relate to the presence of a Barack Obama or Colin Powell or personalities like a Kanye West? That's what intrigues me. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit. I had this all figured out, and then like a whole wave of people just came in and threw off my count. So I had to figure this out. What I'm asking you to do is probably just bunch up probably by 2 tables. Group up.
yeah, you need.
All right, before I give you all my questions, I have an announcement to make. Will Dr. Palmer's class please stay in this room afterwards so he can meet with you all? Please do not leave. All right? All right, so you should be in about groups of 5, no more than 6. And I have 4 questions for you before we get started. So since I don't get paid to do this, I think I can put y'all to work. So I have 4 questions that I want you to discuss at your table and kind of in 15 minutes come to some resolution on. Question number 1 is, who was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Question number 2, what is his legacy? Question number 3, please define manhood. And 4, your vision for black manhood. So question number 1, who was Dr. Martin Luther King? Question number 2, what was his legacy? Question number 3, please define manhood. Question number 4, your vision of black manhood. Please begin. Oh, I got some markers.
Let's say here.
We can switch off. You don't have to be here all night. We can switch off so you can have fun and I can have fun.
You want to go and eat?
Oh. I was trying. You might have to go with pencils, man.
We can write with pen.
Yeah, you eat and don't worry about it for right now until you finish. You know what? I don't. I think he said he got the last one. Eric, you know how many of those you made?
No, I think they all got that. Sorry.
Which one? Oh, okay. She's been calling about this program.
So we on camera.
Oh, the one with the hat on? Oh, yes, she has.
Most teachers.
Oh no, that's my friend.
Doesn't motivate. I know, but.
And then I'm thinking about like the letters.
Sorry, is that okay, or do you want me to like text it out?
Well, remember, we have 4 questions. Should we slide the line down the other side? What I'm saying, slide the line down the other side. Question 1 and question 2.
Yeah, here's the chair right here.
Save this part. What you think?
What turned off? I would just let kind of pan in the room so they can see what's going on in the process.
Spike Lee.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up, man?
How you doing, bud?
All right, the last second my son decided he'd rather stay with his boys. I was like, you know what, he don't get home early a lot of days. So he'll stay home. I made his homework done.
Take about 6 more minutes.
6 minutes and you're on your own.